Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of SD Intensity Fantasy Football. I'm Mark, and as always, we have the lovely Stella manning the controls here for this episode. And wishing you all a happy Veterans Day. I'm a veteran myself, 20 years in the Marine Corps, and just had a wonderful, relaxing day today. And I hope that you all were able to relax with friends and family and do whatever it is that you enjoy doing. Around this house, we enjoy doing a lot of smoking. We cook a lot of meat and things in the smoker. We've done eggs and things like that. And we also enjoy our fantasy football around here. So I'm going to kick off this episode by talking about some diamonds in the rough that I've found in my Yahoo Fantasy League. The first player that I like to talk about is J.D. McKissick, running back from the Washington football team, available in over 50% of Yahoo Fantasy Football leagues. J.D. McKissick has become a favorite target of Alex Smith. Alex Smith now the starter for the football team, as last weekend, as we all saw, that Kyle Allen went down with a gruesome injury. Hope he heals up real soon and gets back out on the field. But McKissick and Smith kind of seem to have some synergy with them, with McKissick becoming a favorite target of Alex Smith on all the checkdowns, possibly adding to McKissick's workload over the weekend could be news of a new injury to the starting running back, Antonio Gibson. So, in the event Gibson were unable to go because he's experiencing a shoulder injury, which is never good for running backs, J.D. McKissick would be somebody that I would look at to insert into your starting lineup if you're hurting for a running back. The second player that I'd like to talk about is a wide receiver from the New York Giants, and his name is Sterling Shepard, of also available in over 50% of Yahoo Fantasy Football leagues. Sterling Shepard is kind of running 1B to Darius Slayton's 1A there in New York. They're kind of neck and neck for targets. And since returning from that turf toe injury, Sterling Shepard has been in the double digits in fantasy points, topping out at 17. And then I think last week getting 11.7 for in the 3 games that he's been back. So the range being there from 11 to 17 points, not bad for a wide receiver if you're hurting at that position. Sterling Shepard would be definitely one I would be looking at. The last person that I'd like to talk about is the tight end from the Cleveland Browns that had an appendectomy. That is Austin Hooper. He was on fire, doing really well those past 3 games, and then he came down with that appendicitis, had his appendix removed. And, as we all know, Cleveland went on the bye. He seemed to be healed up now, practicing during the bye week, and he seems like he's ready to go. He's got a very favorable matchup coming up against the Houston Texans. They have not really done much with tight ends, and I think that Austin Hooper is primed for a big game in that one. So if you are looking for a tight end, and we all know that how much at that position this year is a disaster, there are not many reliable tight ends out there that you can count on for consistent points, but I think Austin Hooper will do well. And, I'll even make a bold prediction out there, and I'm going to call for 12 fantasy points in PPR for Austin Hooper. Next thing I would like to talk to you guys about is over the weekend I was watching the Arizona Cardinals football game, and Kyler Murray was just lighting it up. 38 points in PPR is, that in my mind, that's big points for a quarterback. And when I think about the way he came into the league, he just came in from college and just kind of took over and, started, doing great things in the NFL. And, I'm not saying that the road was easy for him or anything like that, but he didn't really have any hiccups or anything, like he just came in and he's just been, I think, doing really well in the league. When I think back to the way quarterbacks used to come in, I think, I'm thinking of guys like Phillip Rivers when he came in. He sat behind Drew Brees for a number of years. Aaron Rodgers, he sat behind Brett Favre. A lot of these quarterbacks that have become great, they've sat behind people, and I think that way of quarterbacks coming into the league, I think it's kind of a thing of the past now. I think it's going to be more of the norm for quarterbacks to do what Kyler Murray has done and just come in, take over a team, and let's go, and they'll kind of go forward and do great things in the NFL. I do think that the profile of quarterback is changing too. I think now that the quarterback, he's going to have to be an athlete. He's going to have to be able to get yards running. He's going to have to get, he's going to have to be able to throw the ball accurately. He's going to have to be able to throw it down the field to get that chunk yardage, and he's also going to be able to have to take off and run. I think those traditional pocket passers are kind of a thing of the past. It just, it just gives the defense something to target, and they know that they can pin their ears back and go after a stationary target rather than going after somebody and not being able to pin their ears back and blitz and do all these things because you don't know where that guy's going to take off running to. So I think it's right before our eyes. We're seeing the evolution of the quarterbacking position. I find it all very, very interesting. What do you guys think? Do you think that the days of the pocket passers gone? Let me know in the comments what you think. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is values on your team. Who did you guys get on your rosters that you feel like you got a tremendous value from? For me, I got Dalvin Cook in the first round with the 10th pick. I can't believe he slid down that far. I think a lot of people in my league, they were drafting on potential rather than production. I think if people had production in the forefront of their mind, I think that it would have led them to drafting Dalvin Cook a lot earlier. But I think people got enamored with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I had seen him when, news that he was, that he had gotten drafted and went to the Chiefs. I saw him, pretty quickly ascending up those draft boards. And then some of the last projections that I saw was up in the first round. And I thought, man, oh man, that is, it's something else that, you're going to, for me, in my opinion, you're going to go out on a limb and draft this kid when he hasn't played it down in the NFL yet. We don't know what he can do. Is he going to be, a colossal bust? He could very well go on to be a Hall of Famer. I have no idea. But for this draft and where we're at right now, I think it would have been the more prudent choice to go after production rather than potential. What do you guys think about that? I think we could probably do a whole episode on production versus potential. I think it's an interesting topic for fantasy footballers, and I'd like to know what you guys think. Another value that I got on my roster too, you guys have heard me talk about it before, I got Amari Cooper in the 7th round. And I understand right now that he's having the 4th and 5th string quarterback to deal with. But I think once Andy Dalton comes back, I think he's going to go back to his normal volume, 12 to 15 targets per game. And I think he'll be right back up there in the 18 to 20 point range once, that quarterback position gets settled back down by Andy Dalton. So, yeah, pretty interesting. I felt like that a lot of fantasy managers in my league, they really reached for a lot of people. Lamar Jackson was selected number 1 overall in the league. It really, really surprised me because I knew that, when people make picks like that, that there's going to be an outstanding player that gets pushed down the boards and that I would have a chance at drafting. So it's very interesting. I would encourage you guys, this is a time now where other fantasy managers, they're getting desperate. They're going to start dropping people and going for, I don't even know what. Sometimes I don't know what people think about. I know that the Baltimore Ravens were dropped in my league. People have been dropping players like Jamison Crowder, Miles Sanders. I know Miles Sanders was hurt, but he wasn't going to be out for 3 weeks. So, I mean, what a great bench stash for somebody, to go out on the wire, pick up Jamison Crowder. Well, people say, well, he's on the Jets and all that stuff. But you know what? He still gets, he eats. He gets volume, Sam Darnold and Flacco, they throw his way. So, That's what you should be looking for, guys, is people who eat, people who get the targets. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, those guys get the looks. Amari Cooper, they get volume. Who gets volume? Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones. Look at people like that when you draft next year. And I'm sure over the course of this offseason, we're going to be talking a lot about draft strategies and everything like that. So let's bring it back to present day right now. If you guys were offered a trade, or you're thinking about making a trade, and you're not quite sure how to pull it off. If you're looking for that waiver wire pickup, if you're looking, for any way to improve your team, bring your ideas here. Let's talk about them, and I can let you in on some of the things that I'm doing to try to help my team along. Right now in the season, I'm 9-0 in first place. I'm looking for that first round bye, looking to go to 10-0 this weekend. It's very exciting. This is the longest win streak I've ever had in fantasy football. So it's very exciting to be on this journey and sharing it all with you. So again, if there's questions that you guys have, topics that you want to see covered, please let me know. I appreciate all your guys' support. People finding me organically. It's unbelievable, the support that I've had and everything. And I just appreciate the opportunity to live in a place where I can do this, in my off time. I just love talking about football, fantasy football, and other sports. We like talking about smoking, growing vegetables, all kinds of neat stuff. So if that's your guys' interest, let me know. We can make a show and talk about those things. So as always, be safe out there, be fierce, be strong, and good luck on Sunday in Week 10. Hope you bring home a lot of individual awards and bring them points home, all right? Be safe and have a great evening, everybody. Thank you.